Do it.
Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? It's your boy Big Mike in the building with Swish for Real. How y'all living? I got my boy Boogie Bob in the building. Boogie, man, how you living?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, I had to represent since Mike was coming on, you know, but I got my shirt. And for those that didn't miss it last week, there's a QR code.
That's the QR code right there. And
So
we got a special guest on with us, man. Mike Shed, former of the Mavs, man. Mike, how you living, man? How things on your end of the world, bro?
I stay busy. That's for sure. I try to. Got my boys, and then I got work and my wife, and I just roll. I try to stack good days.
Man, grinding. Thanks for joining us, man. We have to get you one of these shirts, man.
Yes,
So after the
for
show,
sure. I'll rep Fish for real.
yeah, Swish for real, baby. So we're gonna get started, man. Our first thing we like to do when we have guests on, we ask three questions. There's three questions, three questions. So I'm gonna let Boogie Bob start it with the three questions, and then we'll kind of conversate about what's going on with Mike Shed. So Boogie Bob, the floor is yours.
well, I didn't know what order to put these in. I kept changing it. But the first one, and I usually ask this, how did you get into coaching?
Interesting question. So I played 4 sports in high school, and I knew when I played football into hoops into baseball, and then my sophomore year we had a state ranked track team.
Nice.
We were great, but when we get to the
State?
playoffs, we needed points, and he didn't
What
have
state?
any.
What state you talking about?
Michigan. I'm born and raised in Michigan. We didn't have any field points. So I was a big guy, and the track coach asked one day, he's like, "Hey, would you come out for the track team?" I said, "I'm not running." I said, "I'm already playing baseball." I said, "I'm not doing running events." He says, because I had heard even if you just threw a field event, that they made you run an event. And I said, "I'm not running." I said, "That's not my thing." I said, "I'll come throw for you. I'll throw the shot put in the discus."
Yep.
And so I would go to baseball practice and then walk across to the track, and I would do my shot put discus stuff. And I threw. So I did 4 sports in high school, and I knew I wasn't going to play in college because I wanted to be an athletic trainer. That's what I wanted to be. I knew that would connect me to the game, and I could keep and with what other game, whether it's football or hoops, and I could keep going.
Nice.
So my first semester at Purdue, go Boilers. I'm
Big dog.
I sit in on a class, and the coach and the teacher is a high school head coach. And he's like, "Would you be interested in coaching football?" He says, "We need a freshman head coach and a varsity assistant." I said, "And I'm all over it." So I stopped being a trainer. I took that job, and then I went into education, and I coached football for 2 years. Then the next year, I went from football to basketball. I started coaching basketball. And like I told you, Big Mike, when I graduated, my high school head coach was a college head coach. And he called me and said, "Hey, I've got a spot if you want to come back to Michigan." And I took my first assistant job at Eastern Michigan University and was there for 3 years. So that's when I got into coaching. But I've always been around sports, always.
Nice.
The Purdue, when you mentioned Purdue, they played the infamous. I'm a few years older than you are, Mike.
Maybe a couple.
But Billy Tubbs was the coach at OU when we. Gene was his first name. I'm trying to remember his last
Coach
name.
Gene Katie.
Yeah, he was a really good coach. He wasn't. And you followed basketball if you knew his name, because
my roommates were on the team, so I was there every day.
Yeah,
Nice.
Lou Carnesecca and Al McGuire and a bunch of other big names in the sport. Gene Katie wasn't, but Oklahoma. I actually got to see Oklahoma play Purdue.
I think I probably remember that game. It was probably pretty good.
Yeah. Well, my second question is, how funny is Dirk behind the scenes?
Oh, he's a riot.
Yeah, I heard he was a hoot, man.
He comes to work, but his little quips behind the scenes and on the court, and when he's beating people, People don't think he talks trash. His trash is funny. He's a him being mic'd up is some of the best TV there is. But Dirk's hilarious, but he's also as genuine a human as I've ever come across. So, but no, he's funny. He is.
Yeah, I remember when they put him on as announcer. He's like, "Wrap it up, let's go home."
Right.
He should be good. I'll tell you what. When he's on Amazon this year, I'm excited to watch him. It should be a good show.
Let me ask you this question though: where did the term when he gets a guy in the low post that's smaller than him? Where did he come up with that phrase "burger"? Where does that even come from?
It's kind of like now what everybody calls you barbecue chicken, or it's like if you're a burger, he's eating you. It's easy. So it was just oh my gosh, he's a burger. So he's just gonna eat you. He's just gonna eat you up. That's how that kind of just came to.
What's the famous one-liner that he said to he played with like some 200 different players over his career, but in practice or anybody like a Deshaun Stevenson or Jet, is there a funny one-liner when he was dogging him?
When he yelled the "shut it down" or "hang in" at the last 4 or 5 years, he would always do "hang in there," hang in there. Whenever he was beating somebody or something was going bad for somebody else, he'd always just hang in there. But it shut it down. Like anytime practice is getting long, he's like, shut it down.
Did him and Vince Carter ham it up together in practice?
Yeah, the two guys at the elite level like that. They were awesome to be around, and they great personalities. Vince is right up there with Dirk on being just a unbelievable human next to being the most incredible athlete I've ever seen. Vince could play any sport and play it correctly and be awesome.
Nice.
Oh, you want him to play tennis? His tennis form is going to be perfect. Going to golf, it's going to be perfect form.
Dang.
It's just ridiculous.
Him and Antoine Jameson were traded for each other. One was drafted out of the other, and it was like 4th and 5th pick. And at the time, they were both North Carolina. And I've said this before, most people would have never thought that Vince Carter would have lasted longer in the NBA than Antoine Jameson. So he got that 3-point shot.
Right? He got up to 21, didn't he?
Yeah, he played 20 COVID year. I think he would have played 22. No, he played 22 because he played one more year than Dirk. And then after COVID, he
Yeah.
So my third question, because he gets a lot of press. I mean, the interviewers go to you when they want a game wrap up, but this guy created a move, and they've named it after him. So I want to know, from your perspective, what about God Shamgod that makes him so spectacular?
Legendary.
I mean, like I said, for somebody to be known by a move, so your name is a move is insane. So, and the fact that so many people try to do it and try to learn it, but his story, just New York, Providence, and then the move, and just the upbringing, the way he got through life and all the things, it was he carved out a unique place in that he's like a player whisperer. Like, he doesn't need to be out front, even as famous as he is, but players just want to talk to him. So Sham is he calls me Shed One. I call him Sham One. I just saw him at the airport the other day, matter of fact. He's just a genuinely good dude who's been around and has earned everything he's ever gotten. He's never got a handout. So, and like I said, he's just got that level of respect as a New York guard, and with the handle, people just want to be around him.
Yeah, that move, Shamgod, man.
You watch it and you're like, is it that big a deal? And sometimes it doesn't do anything, and other times it's got people falling down, breaking ankles. So
it's amazing.
I can't do it. I know it's funny to watch Dirk try to, when Dirk used to try to do it.
So I went to the University of Oklahoma, like I said, and and they didn't have a field house, but I go to play pickup games. Where the weight room for the football players right next door was a couple basketball gyms, and
Okay.
so when someone made a move like that, they'd say, "Yeah, he hung his jock strap out to dry."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think it's my turn to ask my 3 questions, Mike. So
All right, get in there.
hold on to your seat, man. I got a couple of
Buckle up.
right. All right. So my first question is: are there any other hobbies that you would like the audience to know that you love doing, whether it be chess, um, water polo, anything that people don't think you
I tell
are
you,
interested in?
tell you what, I'm a huge movie guy, and before I got married, I would go. Everybody's like, "You go to the movies by yourself?" I'm like, "Absolutely." Like, I don't feel bad doing it. I'm a huge movie guy. So even now, my kids, I watch a lot of animated movies, but we
Nice.
try to get to the theater at least a couple times a month. Just as I just
Nice.
love movies. Um, People near me know this, but a lot of people wouldn't. I'm a fanatical cologne guy.
Oh, nice. What's your
Like
favorite?
well, there's a couple now that I'm a fan of. Fragrance Story, The Line, they have several. And then Rasasi Hawass has several that I'm a huge fan of. But just old
Dang.
school ones. Like I used to, before I was
What about
married, I had a
Jean? Remember
kitchen.
Jean Paul Gaultier?
Oh, JPG, yeah. I used to have
Yeah.
a kitchen spice rack in my closet, and there was, so I probably rock 40 or 50 on my shelf in the place now. So I'm a big cologne guy, and my oldest son has taken on the infatuation with it. He's got himself several bottles.
That's dope.
Which thank God that he likes to smell good.
I'll
Um,
send him some accession and some passion.
no, those are old school classics. You can't go
Uh,
wrong. And then and then just I like to. I don't stay out late, but I like to just I like to eat. I'm a foodie. We were arguing.
Nice.
We weren't arguing the other day. My son was like, "Where do you want to go, Dad?" And I said, "Buddy, you could not pick a place where I couldn't eat." I said, you could say this. I could find something at any place, anywhere, and I could be good. I said that. So I'm a foodie. I like talking food. I like hearing about food. I like watching recipes. It's fun.
Yeah, you sound a lot like me. Besides the cologne thing, I'm not a big cologne guy. I love cologne, but foodie, yeah, I'm a good foodie, but I'm limited to my palate, so I don't eat a lot of well, I'm a vegetarian now, so I don't eat a lot of meat, so sucks for me, but hey, it is what it
Hey,
is.
there's probably lots of ways to get veggies served. So, I don't hate.
Facts, facts. All right, my second question is what's playing right now in your music rotation? What can we
Man.
think Mike's jamming out to right now?
So I've got a channel on Apple. It's Mike's channel. So
Okay.
it
You
kind of
gotta send me
just
the link.
filters off of my likes. Like today, it was very country,
Mm,
but I'll get old school Motown. Like I said,
nice.
I grew up in the late '80s and '90s, so
Yeah, yeah.
R&B.
So you're R&B,
I'm an
R.
R&B
Kelly and that like that.
guy. Old school rap, like rap now is awful.
I
So,
agree. I agree. We're gonna have to chop that up some more later.
but
So
when I
when you
got to
say
South
old school rap,
Carolina,
who would be your
So do
favorite
you
old
like
school rapper?
Jelly Roll?
oh, we're big. My son's big. My son and my wife went to Jelly Roll. His first concert ever. We went to Jelly Roll out at AT&T.
Nice. So who's your
My
favorite old school
boys. We
rapper?
don't listen to traditional music in our car. We don't listen to Kids Bop.
Right, right. Who's your favorite old school rapper?
Ooh, well, I'm a
So
Eric
are
B.
you
Rakim,
let me ask this
LL.
question then. Let me ask this question. Are you East Coast or because there's different coasts. You got South, East, West. Which one
Well,
would
the
you
South
prefer?
guy, like Andre 3000 is awesome,
Yeah.
but I grew up Biggie, Tupac,
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always LL. Heavy D was my guy, so if you want to go back, Heavy D was a guy. Eric B. Rakim, Nas was if you those are
Hey,
that's
you
my
can't
genre.
forget Wu-Tang, man.
Oh, Wu-Tang. I'm a Eminem guy. Being from Detroit, I know all of his stuff. So I'm an M guy.
So when he
Uh,
came out, what was your thoughts, man? Because he blew it up fast.
he blew up fast. And I'll tell you a quick story. My younger brother was at a club in Chicago right before he hit, and he performed. And he called me when he left. He was like, "Man, there's this guy out of Detroit that man, he's nuts, but he's gonna be something." And it probably wasn't 2 months later that
He blew
Slim
up.
Shady album came out, and he started. You're like, and I call him. He's like, "That's the guy. That's the dude." You know.
Man.
So, yeah, all those things. Like I've grown into country, not the old school country like the twangy, but
Mhm.
like modern day country stuff. I like that. I keep something on in the car all the time, and now my boys have created their own playlist. Some of it mirrors some of my stuff. They're like, "Dad, we put so and so on there," and so it's fun to see. My oldest has his own taste, but my youngest is taking after me a little bit, which is fun.
That's dope. So country music, a little bit of R&B, and old school hip hop
Old
is in
school
your
hip hop, but
rotation.
I'll do R&B, and I'm more of a slow song guy. I don't dance fast.
Nice. All right, my last question. If you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Ooh, man. And it can be a legitimate meal. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be one thing. I
Well, you
guess
know,
I
death row,
probably
they're gonna give you four
I
courses.
tell
So
you what, I'm probably doing steak, potatoes.
something simple.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything probably elaborate. I'm probably doing something I think is heavy. So steak, potatoes, or a big 20-layer lasagna. There's a
Oh
spot in New
yeah.
York, but it looks like it's awesome. I'd probably do that. I forgot the name of it, but it's 20 layers, and it comes out like a sheet cake. It's probably that would be the next thing. If it wasn't steak and potatoes, I'd probably do a big lasagna piece.
Well,
Man.
if you're ever out this way in Flower Mound, there's a restaurant that's been here since I moved here in '84 called Salerno's Family Recipe. It's
Okay.
not a chain, but they have a lasagna that's literally like 4 inches thick, and it's
Man.
handmade from
Oh yeah, that's right up my alley.
yeah Salerno's. Uh, I can text Mike the address, but it's right off of FM 407 in Flower Mound.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I've probably driven past it.
So if
a
you
little
had
no-
to choose in Texas, we got Whataburger is well known, but if you had to choose between barbecue and Tex-Mex, which
Ooh,
one?
I'm Tex-Mex all day.
Tex-Mex. Yeah, Tex-Mex.
My
And,
wife
and-
and I, queso, chips and salsa. I could just sit and do that all day.
right.
I wasn't
Man,
when I first got here. I was a big barbecue guy. The older I've gotten, it just makes me feel awful the next day. So
it's
I
a heavy
can't do it.
food.
I've got to plan it out.
Yeah.
I'm
I was
like,
gonna say
okay,
a little.
we're doing ribs and barbecue on Saturday. Then I know that's like the one hit. I can't do it all the time. I just don't feel good afterwards.
Nah, I agree with that. And a little known fact about me, Mike, I used to be a chef in at the Olive Garden back in the day. So
Oh, OG's our spot.
yeah,
Love
man.
the
So when
OG.
you say lasagna, I was like, oh man,
Well, if
I
I'm
cook
going to OG,
lasagna.
chicken scampi.
Man,
That's what I get.
I could cook lasagna with my eyes closed now, so it's nothing to me. I'm like, yeah, lasagna. That's an easy meal.
Maggiano's over in the Richardson Plano area is pretty good for a
Yeah.
non-chain.
Yep. All right, guys, let's move on to the next subject. And thanks, Mike, man, for answering all that questions, bro. I appreciate that, man. I learned a lot. So well, we're going to talk about the 2026 NBA schedule, and there are 5 key games that people want to watch this season. And, I'm Mavs centric, Bob's Mavs centric. So, Bob, we're going to give it over to you, man. Give us your thoughts on the 5 key games that people should be getting an eye on when it comes to the 2025-2026 season for the NBA.
Well, let me preface this. I was a Mavs fan in the 90s and even had season ticket holders before they got the 3J. So if you can make it through Jim Clemens, Glenn Buckner, Greg Buckner, and all
no
them,
mentions in Clemens.
you would go to a Mavs game not to watch the Mavs. Most people, they went to see the other player. I went to go see the Mavs, and it's funny because Tim Legler couldn't hit a 3-pointer. We traded him away. He buried it left and right. So it's like, but right off the top, my top five, number one on the list, no surprise. Homer call. Mavs versus Spurs home opener, October 22nd at AAC. Get your tickets. Come back. You can get back on the bandwagon. Okay, it's going to be all right. You know, we got Cooper Flag in the house, so come on back, Mavs fans. We want you back. Number two, Oklahoma City versus the Rockets in Oklahoma City on the ring ceremony.
Okay.
You got Kevin Durant returning to Oklahoma City, even though it's been a few years, and he's got to watch them put up
A banner.
a banner that he couldn't
the
bring home.
rings.
Yeah. So he's got to sit there and watch his former, where he started. Well, he actually started in Seattle, but I mean, he got the MVP from Oklahoma City, and they were up 3-1 on the Golden State team, and then punted that one away. So it's like you got both the 1 and 2 from last year, and then you got the KD thing, and you got the ring ceremony and the banner raising. I'm like, that's number two, and then number three, the Thunder Pacers rematch.
Okay.
And I mean, there's a lot of teams to choose from, stars. So my fourth and fifth are kind of some people might say it a cop out, but there's just too many to choose from. So number 4 was any and all Christmas Day games.
You stole it. Did you get on my notes, Bob?
So I knew this symbol is like, we got to leave food on the table for everybody else. So, it's funny, the NFL, because the NBA's dominated Christmas Day, and the NFL started scheduling games on Christmas Day to try to get some fans. So, and then number 5 is just a kind of a general, is players returning games. So talked about KD, but Drew Holiday coming back to Boston, KP coming back to any of the 4 places he's played, Luka and AD, AD going back to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Miles Turner when he has to play in the end. So there's a lot of players change teams, and some weren't expected to. So any of those games where the player returning to their former team is a must-watch TV.
Gotcha. Nice.
Co-sign that.
Yep. And Mike, give us your 5 teams to watch.
Well, I tell you what, he touched on a couple, and mine aren't necessarily specifics, more families of games. Like I said, the opening night games, like the Mavs, will be interesting, to see Cooper and on that opening night. But with Kyrie out, it'll be interesting to see how they manage the roster and how they manage games. And the Spurs will be fun. New coach, Wemby's a year older, but they got the young guys, so they should be fun. I take Cavs Knicks on Christmas. As long as they're healthy. And then there's another Christmas game, that T-Wolves Nuggets game. Those 2 on Christmas. Mavs Golden State is what it is. And the Rockets LA should be good. But something else I was looking at, any of the knockout rounds for the NBA Cup. Any of those games. And I think I was skeptical of the NBA Cup, the in-season tourney. I think it's added some juice to the guys competing. They're not going to sit and miss those games. Sometimes the courts are ugly. I don't necessarily rock with how they design the court, but
It make you dizzy a little bit.
I tell you what, some of them are hideous. But I think that the competition is good because let's all be real. The All-Star game is a train wreck the way people play it. So and then one other thing, we just talking about games specifically, MVP matchups. So the first time Joker plays SGA, Luca plays Giannis, Ant plays SGA. Any of those games, I think, can just bring everybody. That's must-watch TV. Okay, you got the T-Wolves and the Lakers tonight. You got OKC and Milwaukee tonight. We used to put Boston in that. I don't know if Jaylen Brown's going to become a MVP candidate. Boston broke that thing down. So
yeah, and Tatum's still hurt too.
Yeah, you got all these guys that are going to miss a majority of the year. So those are my games to watch.
Clippers, Lakers.
Say it again.
The Clippers, Lakers.
Oh, the LA home. You got to love those games because they get to travel 2 less times because they don't have to leave. They're going to the same building. Well, they're down the road. They're no longer in the same building. But those are mine. Just game situations are things for me to look for.
So let me ask you a question that's not necessarily a top 5. What about when Jalen Brunson and the Knicks play the Lakers and Luka?
No, I think it'll be good. Jalen and he used to. I was blessed to be around them for 2-3 years.
Nice.
They compete. That's one thing Jalen does. He's a pro and he competes. And now he's gotten his chance to shine and lead, and he's done it. So
and if you notice, a lot of his game is very similar to Luka's. Get the guy on
dominant, get your shot. That's what he does.
Well, he was 2-time National College Player of the Year and 2-time Villanova NCAA champion. You don't just get those; they don't hand those out like candy.
Correct.
So, Mike, I want to bring it back to the in-tournament, this in-season tournament. What do you think that championship is like banner worthy? In my opinion, I'm like, I don't know. Can you add that as a championship in some cases? But
I think it depends on your organization. If you've never had any historical winning, then maybe you can. I think it's just something that you can build up your existing team. I don't know if it's something you can hang your hat on as an organization going, hey, we won the in-season tournament. But it's something your team and your staff can build on. Hey, we got this done. So I don't. Is it banner worthy in a stadium? Maybe small. I don't know if you're doing a ring night for that, but maybe you bring in your season ticket holders for that. But
I say put up a real 8x11 banner in Vegas, so that when they eventually get their team, they can say, "See all these championships we hosted."
Exactly.
Right.
So
pun intended.
Pun intended.
Nice. All right. Moving on to the next subject, man. Well, we're gonna start with you, Mike. Will the Lakers have a better record? And I'm still kind of salty a little bit for the trade, Luka going to the Lakers. Yeah, will they have a better record than the Mavs, the Lakers?
End of season?
Yeah.
Oh, I think they will. Because until when Kyrie's back, the Mavs are not. The Lakers, I think, are a better team. Now, LeBron could blow that up if LeBron doesn't choose to play. But in shape Luka and something to prove Luka is pretty impressive. So I personally think the Lakers have a better record than the Mavs.
So you think
not 20
the guard
games,
position,
but 4 seed
the guard
versus
position
8
for the
seed.
Mavs, is that the soft spot? Because I think with them adding D'Angelo Russell kind of helped out a little bit, and you still have Brandon Williams. But is that the position that we're really actually having an issue with, or is it something different? that would probably get us over the top for
I tell
being
you
better
what,
than the Lakers.
D'Lo's good if he's engaged, and he seems like he wants to play with AD. And my whole thing with him is whether he stays locked in. If he's in lockstep with J Kidd and with the staff and with AD, and because playing with Kyrie is one thing, but playing with D'Lo is not Kyrie. We can say what we want. Those are two different dudes. Now he can score the ball. It's whether he can get everybody else involved, and then how does Flag fit in? Are they just jamming things on him, or are they letting him gently roll in, or is the excitement too much where they don't feel they can, wade him into the water and they throw him in the deep end, which he's ultra talented. So can he take it? Probably can. I'll be curious to see how they mix him in early, and then how that equates to wins and losses. But
So
I just think the Lakers are a better team. If LeBron's healthy, he's still LeBron, even if he doesn't play as much. And then Luka's better than
So, like, if you compare the
Lakers.
two teams position-wise, where does Dallas have a better position? Center, guard, what do you think Dallas is better at than the Lakers?
Well, AD's better than anybody they have at the 4
Besides
5.
Luka. So a
Besides
healthy AD
Luka.
is better than Luka, or no?
Say that again.
A healthy AD is better than Luka, or no?
No. Luka's the best player on those two rosters.
Gotcha.
In my book. So yeah, I think AD's better than anybody on the Lakers except Luka. I think Austin is better than the wings on the Mavs.
Better than PJ?
PJ is good, but Austin handles the ball more. PJ's a little bigger, more of a spot up guy, and only posting up on small. I think Austin can be a handler, a lead guard, can shoot it, scores it off the bounce. PJ's tougher, rebounds better. They both bring different things, but Austin's more of a to
bucket
me.
Yeah, but I like Austin Reeves, man. But if I had to pick out of the two, man, I don't know. To me, they kind of cancel each other out. But you said the power forward position are probably where Dallas kind of shines more so.
Yeah, if AD's playing the 4, he's better than Vanderbilt. He's better than Vando. Vando's good, but or Rui
Hachimura too,
I don't
right?
know where you're playing him at. So
Doesn't
all
Rui
those guys
play
try to
power
cancel
forward
each
as
other
well?
out.
Doesn't Rui Hachimura play power forward as well, or they got him at center?
Well, they had Jackson Hayes
and Ayton.
Didn't they signed a center? Who'd they sign?
Aiden, he's a
Ayton.
Oh, okay.
Gray Ayton.
Oh yeah. Well, I hope he works out, because I haven't been impressed.
Phoenix by double digits, like 20, 30 points on their home court in Game 7. Ayton didn't show up then.
That's my thing with DeAndre is whether he just is he willing to compete for a whole game and not just take pot shots. So it's Hachimura probably plays the 4. Now that I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
And LeBron's 3 or whatever, and then Reeves is 2, and then Luka. I just think the Lakers have a better record. It's not going to be a huge difference, but it's enough to say I think they'll have a better record.
And that was going to be my next question too. What would be the record? So Dallas, you think they win over 50, and what would the Lakers win over?
I say the Mavs float around 400 on 500. So 40, 42 wins. I mean, you get to 500, you make the playoffs in the West.
Yeah. But the West is so tough. I get it though. But I personally
the Lakers,
think
I'm calling high. I could see 50 wins. If Luka is elite Luka, I can see 50, 55 wins.
Dang,
The Mavs, I'm calling I'm calling 40s. If they go over 500, I think they make the playoffs, and then if Kyrie does come back, then who knows what happens.
I get what you're saying, because with the absence of Kyrie for half of the season, that does make a difference, though.
I
So
mean, you might not get him, and you also might not get him. If you do get him, he might be after All-Star break. So you only got him for 26 games, and then the playoffs. So you may, and then let's be real. AD ain't played a whole season.
yeah. So let me ask you this question, and then I'll swing it over to you, Bob. What would make Dallas better if we're thinking about the trade deadline, if they had to add another player? What position you think they need to upgrade?
If you're telling me D'Lo's playing well, or he's fitting the bill while Kyrie's out, and then you got B. Will also, and then you got Hardy. So you got
And then you got that kid we just drafted from Gonzaga, right?
no Nebhart.
Yeah, Nemhart.
I just don't know if he finds time. I just don't
Yeah.
know how with those other guys. But who knows? With PJ and Najee and those, I need a better scorer on the wing. They're tough and defend. I don't know if I can go to them to get a bucket. They play off of people. You know what I'm saying? So now if you get a big on Najee, he can drive past them, or you get a small on PJ, he can post them up, and he's good at the kickouts, but they need other people to get them shots, in my opinion. So if you get down to trade deadline and you can get a 3-and-D killer wing player, whoever that is, then that's always been the Mavs Achilles heel is, can they score from the wing? And you've always had a guard or a big that could score. You had Dirk, and then you had Luka, and then you got Kyrie and Luka, and now you just have Kyrie. AD's now the guy. Now you're back to a big who has to score for you.
Dang. Yeah, if you put it that way, it makes me sad.
I'm not trying to make anybody sad.
All right, Boogie Bob, your take, man. Give me your thoughts, man. Do you think the Lakers have a better record than the Mavs?
Well, this may not show up on camera, but Mike, right on the nose. You hit it right on the nose. I've been watching NBA games since '84. I've been watching a lot of Mavericks. Ups and downs, a decade and a half, almost 2 decades of 50-win seasons. And there's been one common denominator among, all the way from the 80s till now, and that's if you don't have enough shot creators, then in the NBA, you're already at a disadvantage. So you've got some guys that can shoot. You don't make it in the NBA if you can't shoot. But if you can't create your own shot, or you can't get open to create your own shot, you're at a disadvantage. And so that was the great thing about Carlisle. If he had a player that did one thing really, really great, he found a way to use him. Deshaun Stevenson was a prime example. You go way back in the '90s, you got Popeye Jones. He didn't score much, but he rebounded. But AD can get his he's going to get his points, get his bucket. He hadn't played more than 55 games in I think it's like 6 seasons. But it's like I've always said, it don't matter how tall you are, even in a pickup game. It don't matter how tall you are. If you can't get your feet there, it don't matter. And if you don't have a point guard that gets the ball to the bigs, then it don't matter how good a big you have, because you got to get the ball to them. Prime example, Mike, you'll appreciate this. When we had OJ Mayo and Darren Collison, Dirk Nowitzki would get on the block, and he literally have to come off the block and reach for the ball. The ball wasn't on target. He had to move his position, and he would lose his advantage, and he had to reestablish his. And then all of a sudden we get Jason Kidd and Dirk go down on the block, and the pass was right in the pocket. That's what they call it. Ball was right in the pocket. He didn't have to move. And Dirk just lit it up from there. And that's the great thing that I think that's misunderstood about Luka. It's not so much his scoring. Everybody, he's a highlight reel. I mean, if anybody fits the definition of Showtime, that would be Luka. But, he does those highlight reel passes, but rarely did you see a player ever have to take a step to catch one of Luka's passes. And you don't have that guy. And yeah, Hardy can get his own shot, but he can't get somebody else's shot. And so we got a lot of guys that might be able to create their own shot, but can they create a shot for somebody else to where the defense has to rotate, collapse, and all that? And your point about D'Lo, he kind of reminds me of an early Jason Terry, in that he's up and down. He's not real consistent, and he can get to the hole. And Devin Harris, he used his speed like Brandon Williams to get to the hole. But we had Jose Calderon. He would beat the first line of defense. When you get to the second line of defense, instead of going in for a layup, he didn't like contact. So it basically, instead of 4-on-3 or 5-on-4, he wound up giving the advantage away. So it's really important in the NBA for somebody to be able to create a shot, not just for themselves, but for other people. So that's where we're lacking. My initial, what I wrote down is just, you kind of brought that out of me, Mike. I was like, I'm not just a dancer. It's like a little bit of basketball in there. I don't think the Mavs have a better record. Here's why. My forecast is 46 wins for the Mavs and right around 50 for the Lakers. Mavs will be lucky if they're 500 when Kyrie returns. So if you look at around the All-Star, that means they would be 26-26 with 30 games left to play. They would have to win at a 66% clip. In other words, go 20-10 in the last 30 games just to get the 46 wins. So that, when you break it down that way, is, yeah, they can hold the ship down, and you've got talent. It's not the fact that they don't have talent, but you've got to have that not just ball handler, but that shot creator. So if they're above 500 when Kyrie returns, and he may not be 100%, they got to go 20-10 at the end of the season just to get the 46 wins. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for. When we traded for Gafford and PJ, we had that kind of run. We were a little over 500, and they made that run at the end. So I think what it comes down to is not so much what the regular season record is. We've proven that we can win on the road. I think it comes down to how healthy you are. And my personal opinion, I like to hear Mike Shedd's comments after I say this. In 2020, I think the only reason the Lakers won the NBA championship was they had a whole summer to recover from the injuries. And they had like a 2-week training camp and played like 7 games, and then they played the traditional NBA championship. So they only wound up playing like 30, 35, somewhere in there games all the way to the end. But you had a healthy and rested LeBron, a healthy and rested AD. And people forget Phoenix made a heck of a run. They won like 7 or 8 games to finish that, missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
So there's merit to going in to the playoffs, not just firing on all cylinders, but being healthy. And I think the hardest championship to win is the NBA championship. I mean, hockey, you got to win 16. Baseball, you got the wild. So it's harder to get into the playoffs in baseball. Football, you've had some 500 teams win. In hockey, you've had some number 8 seeds win. But you haven't had an 8 seed win an NBA championship. You had Miami and New York Knicks make it. So usually the well, through the 80s and 90s, if you weren't the first or second seed, you didn't win a championship. But here lately, Mavs were like third seed when they won theirs. So you could come out when they made the finals in 2025, they were the fifth seed. So if you're healthy and you're clicking, it's a 2 month long up and down roller coaster. And I think people forget that. It's not you win a series and then it's 60 to 65 days from the start of the playoffs to the championship. So if you get one small injury or you're not healthy in that 65 games, or one of your players goes cold for that stretch, boom, you're just. And I like to hear Mike Shed's comment about what I said with the Lakers winning because they were healthy going into the bubble.
And people knock it. The bubble's a championship. So I mean, all the things you had to put up with while being in there, and you can say what you want about people are ready to go and ready to leave, and they were there 89 days away from their family. That's a title, just like anything. But just like us in 11, we were healthy and playing the right way at the right time. That's what winning it's not about who you come up against. You can't talk about injuries or all those things. You play who shows up. And if somebody gets hurt, somebody got hurt. It doesn't diminish winning because, well, so and so got hurt, or they were less than this player, or he was no good this round. You play who's out there, and you play who's in front of you, and you beat them, you win. So I'm not an asterisk guy.
Besides the in-season tournament.
I wasn't saying that it's an asterisk or what.
No, I see what you're saying, but they were healthy, and
they had that from March until whenever they started the bubble to recover. It's a beating on the body to play the regular season.
100%. People don't understand. NBA basketball is as hard as anything with the travel and minutes. And now, am I a big health management guy, like sitting games? I don't agree with that. Like I grew up with Dirk didn't miss games. Dorian Finney-Smith, played 81 of 82 his rookie year because Rick just didn't play him a game. I mean, guys who play and show up, that's a big deal. That's a lost art.
Thanks. So we're gonna keep it with you, Mike. I want to talk about the best journeymen in the last 10 years. And there's been quite a few that were notable, man. And I have a list that I would share with you guys, but I want to hear your thoughts. You could just give me your top 5 if you want to. But there have been some great.
We're just talking guys who just move around, right? The typical journeyman. Yeah. Well, the classic one, Ish. He's on 13 rosters. Ish Smith. Yeah. And he always contributed wherever he went. Jeff Green, Uncle Jeff.
Yep.
He's been on like, is he 11? He may be, I forget his.
11.
Vince Carter, and he's more back a ways, but Vince was, Raptors and Nets and Mavs and Hawks and Memphis, and he contributed wherever he went. So I throw Vince in there.
Let me stick with Vince Carter for a minute. When he was in Dallas, did he bring anything different to the team as far as chemistry wise? What he added to the Mavs at that time?
He was on I wouldn't say the decline. He was on the backside, and he was looking for chances to win. And rev it up. But I can't say enough good things. Like, I think he helped Dirk a lot because where Dirk was at the time, Vince could score. Vince drew attention so that Dirk could get the ball. I mean, Vince fit well. And I thought I thought that roster, I tell you what, if Dewan doesn't get ejected and suspended, versus the Spurs.
Mm.
I think we win that series.
DeJuan Blair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he kicked a splitter.
Oh
Kicked a punch
yeah.
splitter in game 5. I think we win game 6 and win the series. That's my opinion. If DeJuan didn't get
We're
suspended.
up 3-1.
So
And
he
Vince
gets
hit the 3-pointer that put us up 3-1.
100%. So I think we win that series, and I think we can make a run with that roster. So Vince was awesome. Vince is, like I said, Vince is top shelf for me. I'm curious to
So
hear your list.
before you move on, Mike, with Vince Carter, my friend calls it gravity. There's certain players that there's just gravity. Whether they got the ball or not, you got to guard them. You can't leave them open.
Mhm.
Dirk obviously was one of them. LeBron was obviously one of them. Luka. But Vince Carter had that gravity. You
100%.
couldn't leave him open for 3-pointers because he would kill you.
And when he got to us, he had improved his 3-point shooting. He was so used to all the acrobatic rim finishes and all the things. He became a consistently good 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
So
I think it's time with New Jersey playing with Kidd made him way more better because, like, having that type of person in your corner teaching you the game how they see it gives you more insight on how to play your game because he's giving
Jake Kidd
you
was
everything you
incredible
need.
when he was with the Nets. Just his ability to distribute and get people involved and in the right spots, and it just another
Man,
level. He saw it a different way. He coaches how he played the game. He coaches a little different than most people.
yeah, and if a kid ever watched this episode, my wife had the biggest crush on him. And I'm just like, what? What's on me? Anyway, swinging to you, Boogie Bob, the journeyman for the last 10 years. Who do you have on your list of
Well,
top 5?
this is not where Mike. Were you finished with?
Yeah, I didn't like. I mean, I had some other older names, Joe Johnson, Dwight Howard, but nothing in the last. Everybody's a journeyman now. Nobody stays with a team.
Yeah.
Facts.
So I just want to make sure that
No, I'm good. Go
we
ahead.
like everybody to get their chance to eat on this show.
I eat plenty.
We don't try to clean the plate.
I got 5, but to me the quintessential journeyman who has 7 championship rings would be Robert Horry.
Okay.
But is that in the last 10 years though? When was he last played?
What?
Robert's been out
He's
for a
not the
minute.
last 10 years, but when I'm thinking journeyman and
Yeah, he is the quintessential.
yeah, he's the standard, the gold standard for. So I had 5 players. Number 1 on the list, Mike Shed already said, Jeff Green. 11 teams he's played on. And he's helped every team, and he can get you a bucket, he can defend. I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife when it comes to a player. Number 2 may shock you, Dennis Schroeder. He's played for
Nice. I like his game.
He's been on a bunch of teams. He's always just had a tradable contract.
Yeah, and Lakers offered him an extension, and he turned it down, and he bet on himself, and he's been bounced around since then. The third guy, which most Maverick fans hate, and definitely Phoenix Suns fans hate, and when Luka played against him when he was with the Clippers, he goes too small, too small. That would be Patrick Beverly.
Oh yeah. I thought
That's
about
out
doing
of the
somebody
league,
else.
right?
7 teams. He played for 7 teams.
Yeah, he's out of the league if I'm not mistaken, right?
He
I
is.
think he's playing the big 3 now, isn't he?
But he's one of those gnats. He's one of those guys when you're picking teams in a pickup game, you're like, you want him on your team just simply because you don't want him all over you during the
100%.
game.
Couldn't agree more.
This next guy has 3 champion. He's one of the few players that has 3 rings with 3 different teams. Danny Green.
Yep,
Okay.
San Antonio Spurs.
Spurs, Cavs,
And
Raptors.
when
There's Raptors and wasn't he on the Lakers team that won?
Yeah, he was on the. Was he on the bubble team?
Yeah. So he played 6 different teams. And then this last guy, this is ode to Big Mike, because you like this guy. But Rudy Gay played for 5 teams, and you might consider him kind of like Mike Miller, but Mike Miller not the last 10 years. So scraping the bottom of the barrel, Rudy Gay is kind of a journeyman.
Rudy Gay could hoop though back in the day, man.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Paul George holding down that Indiana team at the time when Rudy Gay got hurt, that team was a problem, man. If I remember them correctly.
You know, who's a journeyman we haven't hit yet is Russ.
You know what? I was gonna mention him, Russ, freaking Harden, and KD, all journeymen, and then you got to look at the Lopez brothers, man.
But
Yeah,
they
you
only
said nobody stays anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
So I looked up at those. They've only played for 4 teams. So
Okay.
yeah, some of them were own choosing, some were trades. But yeah, the not Brooke Lopez, but Robin Lopez has played for a lot of teams.
What about Jay Crossover, Jamal Crawford?
He's not in the last 10 years. And that's another funny line from Dirk. His last game of the season, he
Oh
goes, but Jamal Crawford tried to ruin it for me because Jamal Crawford scored 40 plus points that night.
I thought Jamal scored 50, didn't he?
It might have been 50, but he scored. He almost ruined Dirk's. But Andre Miller was kind of that. But that's not in the last 10 years. So
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Because Jamal, I thought when did he retired?
Probably 3 or 4 ago. I mean, he could be in there.
the
Yeah,
year he was like 38, 39 when Dirk retired. So
yeah. Jay Crossover, that was my guy, man. So now we're gonna switch it back over, and we're gonna stay with you, Boogie Bob. We're gonna talk about the Mavericks legacy. So again, I'm a big Mavs fan. I've been a Mavs fan since the 80s when I was a little bitty boy, running under my mom's skirt trying to hide from the bullies. So I'm a big Mavs fan. So let's talk about the legacy of the Mavs, man. And when it came to Dallas back in the 80s. Boogie Bob, we're going to start with you because I know you have a plethora of information that the audience will love to hear.
I have a lot of stats. And our first year we did the Mount Rushmore for each team. And so this year we've been picking teams, player legacy to give their flowers to. And as an ode to you, we chose the Mavericks so we could talk Mavericks tonight.
Okay.
Wait, Bob, before you get started, I want to ask you, Mike, the wink, where did that come from?
It was originally just see if my son was watching.
Nice.
And then it just kind of took off. And then there's a clip one time. My wife, I did the wink, but the camera had cut away and it was just audio only. And so she filmed him and he was sobbing. He's like, "Daddy didn't wink at me." And so she sent me the video and I sent it to Fox. And then the next week, they played it and they made fun of Followill. They're like, you made his son cry as you cut away from the thing. So it was kind of just, I don't know where I just did it once and then it just became habit. And now people expected me to keep doing it. So
that's dope. That's your signature.
Scott on Channel 5, and he's saying, someone wanted him to pay it. He said, I can't just call you out. He goes, but I'll give you a wink. So it's a subtle
100%.
Yeah. So we changed the order. We had the Mount Rushmore. You can go back and look at some of them. And there's some teams where it's like trying to narrow it down to 4, like the Celtics or Lakers. It's kind of tough. And then there's other teams where you got 2 names, and then you got to really hunt and think for a third. So
Hunt and peck, yeah.
I mean, I had my favorite player, but the one I chose, and Captain Obvious, which I'm not normally. Last week I chose Shane Battier for Memphis, Mike. So I didn't choose Zach Randolph, Zebo.
Oh, I'm a Zebo guy.
Yeah. So I chose Dirk Nowitzki.
Tough one.
Yeah, that was tough. I would never thought who is Dirk?
The humanitarian and Uncle Dirk, and what he's done behind the scenes with no publicity, never wanted the story to be told, and they finally convinced him to tell the story.
That's right. Yeah.
The things that he's done for the community with no accolades, just because that's the person Dirk is.
And I always wondered how he kept that a secret, and him going to Scottish Rite a lot. That was dope.
They
Well,
just relationships and willing to keep media, under wraps. And Scott Tomlin, the director of media back then, and Sarah they did a good job. They did a good job.
Sarah was the PR, and she did a good job holding that. But I mean, you could literally stop there, and that would be enough to say, just because Dirk the human, Dirk the person is just, when he came off and did that off it, because I was doing it, I'm like, the best player in the team,
Yeah.
but he's iconic.
Yeah.
He is a player that no matter where you're from, no matter what part of the world, he's an icon. People think of LeBron as an icon. He's an iconic player even outside of Dallas. He changed the game, partly because Nelly liked to play weird scientist, but he literally changed the game. And he, much like Michael Jordan, had 3 different phases. You had to go to the rim, dunk it, Michael Jordan. You had the turnaround fadeaway, Michael Jordan. You had the 3-point shooting, Michael Jordan. 3 different phases. Dirk had those phases, and Avery made him develop a low post game. But he changed the game. Stretch 4 was not even a term used in the game before Dirk.
Mm.
And now you got 7-footers all over the place want to take 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Gertzweiler, his coach from Germany, the science on make. Most people don't know this. The size of a rim, 3 basketballs can fit inside the size of a rim. So, but Dirk changed the game, not just because of his iconic, fade away off the wrong leg and create separation. And during his retirement ceremony, they asked Sean Kemp about, and kudos to Mike Cuban to get all those players to come talk about.
That was dope.
But Sean Kemp said he's the one player he got so frustrated. He goes, I'm 7 foot tall and I could not get the Dirk shot no matter what he did. So he changed the game. And then, we talked about it earlier. He literally carried the 2011 team all the way to the championship.
And even one game he had a fever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He averaged like near 25 points and close to 10 rebounds a game. I think it was for the finals, or for the whole thing. And he did not take 1 3-point shot and average 25. He could get to the free throw line.
Yeah.
But they taught the further we get away from 2011, the more people talk about the impressive run that the Mavericks did. And Dirk, Tyson Chandler, they went to Portland. He said, we're not losing. We're not going out in the first round. And from then on, the pressure was off. I was in Oklahoma City when we won game 3 and 4. In game 3, Oklahoma City hit their first 8 shots, and some of those were 3-pointers. The Mavs were down by 20. They didn't lead the entire game, but they got it to overtime. And Dirk took over. And it didn't matter what Ibaka did. He couldn't guard him. And got back home, won game 5, go to the finals. Dirk just willed that whole team. Here's some of his career stats. 20.7 points a game for his career, 7.5 rebounds per game, and 2.4 assists. Now, later in his career, Dirk did have some triple doubles. I know that's hard to believe. 21 seasons, one team. Tim Duncan did 19, Kobe did 20. Dirk did 21 seasons, one team.
Yeah.
30,000 point club. There's only 9 people in that.
Yeah.
He's ahead of Shaq. He's ahead of several players. He's ahead of Michael Jordan in career scoring. He's ahead of Charles Barkley. He's not still number 6, but he's only Kevin Durant just joined the 30,000 point club. The next closest player is 3,000 points away. 30,000 points over 21 years. So he's one of 9 of the history of the NBA. He made the 75 team. Okay. 14-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA, 4 times he made first team. 12 times he had MVP voting shares, and he won it in the 2006-07 season.
Yeah.
He got 1 chip in MVP for the NBA Finals. He was MVP. There's 4 players hanging up in the AAC that have their jerseys retired. Only one of them has a statue. So of
Can't
all
argue any of it.
he's the only one with a statue. So, I mean, my honorable mentions, if Mike said don't mention them, I'll come back to my honorable mention. But Dirk, when I was at that game, I had courtside seats when he scored 30,000 points, and I've got a video of it. And it's like the electricity in the building that night. I'm like, if he wasn't your number 1 player that night, he definitely became your number 1 player that day. And Mike Shed might remember this. Him and Kobe, they were fierce competitors, but they were kind of friends from what I know often. And in Kobe's last season, Dirk went to that fadeaway, and Kobe was going to come from behind and block it. And Dirk up-faked him and then went up and under and made the shot. And Kobe started laughing and gave him a pat on the butt like, "You got me."
Yeah.
Nice.
You that, Mike Shed?
Can't. I mean, Dirk is the Mavs. So I could name 4. Like I said, Dirk's 1. I think Luka earned his way on there, and I think Rowe and Mark Aguirre. You know, if I were to give 4 Mavs like a legitimate, what Luka did in 7 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he took the mantle of what Dirk left. And that's why I don't want to get into the politics of why they moved him or whatever. He was willing and trying to be that dude. So, and what he, getting to the finals and 5 all pros and all stars, and Dirk's obviously 1. Luka's on there. Ro Blackman was incredible and still does amazing things with the community and the team. And then you got Harp's up there, what he did when they were no good, way back early on. Harp's my guy. So it's those are the guys, BD, Brad Davis early on. But Brad did some things. I couldn't put Brad above Harp or Rowe, but he's up there, and he earned it from early on. But you can say what you want. The Luka trade affected a lot of people, but Luka's a top Mav of all time, and there ain't no question about it.
So I have two questions for you.
And,
2000 is
I have something I want to add to what Mike just said.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Luka's already broken the records that LeBron set. Points, rebounds, fastest through age, all of those. Like any Michael Jordan record, any LeBron record, he's on pace. But that story isn't finished yet. I mean, Jason Kidd was traded early and came back and won a championship. So that story's not finished yet. I had Derek Harper until Dirk came along. Derek Harper was my favorite. They even wrote an NBA rule, and we used to nickname it the Derek Harper rule, because when he arm barred you, he steered you wherever you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And so the hand check rule came in because of Derek Harper. He was always my favorite till Dirk came along. But the two that I'll add to row, Jason Eugene Terry, he had the fans in the palm of his hands when he spread his,
he did the jet.
The jet. And I have a soft spot for Devin Harris, and I've actually got a picture. I'm in between Jason Terry and Devin Harris.
Okay.
So
got you. Now, Mike, I want to ask you, 2006, you were there when they lost to the Miami.
I came right after that. I came in August.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this question then. It's still kind of relevant. How was the atmosphere when they came back? Because I know that after that they still was #1 best record in the league, and then he lost to Golden State.
I tell you what, I got a funny story with that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what was the thought process going into the season? I know they wanted to prove to everyone that they were better, and then Donnie Nelson moved on to Golden State. So, what are your thoughts back then in 2006 when 2007 rather, when all that happened?
So I came in 06. So right. 06, 07. So the year we lost to Golden State, but we lost the first 4 games, and Avery hired me. And so we're 0-4. And he was like, in front of the team, he says, how are we different? Because it was all the same roster. And he says, what's the difference with our team? And he pointed at me. And he says, you're the only difference.
Dang.
And I'm like, I'm the video guy.
We went from Keith Van Horn to Austin Crozier,
yeah.
Then we ended up winning like the next 11, and then we set all these records and got 65 wins. But I still remember that. Like he told me afterwards, he says it's messing. He says trying to break the tension. But I still remember he called me out right in front. He's like, the only difference on this roster is that dude right there, and he put me.
Dang.
But we didn't. Did they lose their first 4? They intentionally lost their last 2. And
if we don't lose those games against Seattle and the other ones, we don't have to play the Warriors.
Yeah, they lost to Golden State because they didn't play the starters that game.
Yeah, we sat the guys.
So that 67 win team could have pushed for 70.
Yeah.
Now here's my second question too. Being that you were from Detroit at the time, what were your thoughts about the Mavericks during that time period? And then Detroit was pretty formidable at times at that time.
I mean, when I was growing up in the ball, the Pistons Bad Boys was when Bad Boys early with Isaiah and Lambeer, and then when Chauncey and all those guys. So I'd had my share of success. I didn't, the Mavs didn't really hit my radar. When I was,
we was that trash at that time.
Just not necessarily trash. It's just I was a Laker because my godmother lived in LA, and she was a Laker season ticket holder, and then I was a Piston guy. And then when I started coaching, I mean, I knew the Mavs, I knew who they were, and then when they had J Kidd, and then and then obviously the phenomenon Dirk when I was coaching college, and then obviously when I came in 06 at the height of, so I was blessed to be there for the height of Dirk from 06 through the championship and all that. So it's to just be honest, the back early, the Mavs didn't hit my radar. I had to, when I started coaching college, I obviously started to take on, watch more games, and and pick up on that stuff. But I'm
So-
glad I did. Like I said, I'm going on 19 years in Dallas now.
So Mike said, you may or may not already know this, but Big Mike is a huge Michigan fan,
Oh
Go
yeah,
Blue.
and his
Yes,
favorite
sir.
player is Chris Webber.
That's
So
why it's the Swish for real, because that Chris Webber, number 4.
so
I played the state
you said
championship.
in Michigan. Did you follow the Fab Five when they come into the?
100%. 100%. I knew all the AU guys. My high school team played Chris Webber in the state championship.
Mm.
Country Day versus Albion High School.
Did y'all win?
We lost by 9.
Oh, that was a good ass game.
It was a great game. He got hurt. We were winning, and we were winning midway through the second. He got hurt, and he came back, and then they ended up winning. But we were number 1 and number 2 all season when we played in the Palace at Auburn Hills. We played the state championship.
Is that game? It's got to be video of that game somewhere.
You can probably YouTube it. I think my mother's got a copy of it somewhere.
Oh, I bet.
But yeah. So yeah, no, the Fab Five was, I mean, black socks, baggy pants.
Man, they brought a culture, man. I started wearing black socks. I'm like, oh yeah. And then when Chris Webber, man, I could say so much about it. I'm a big fan of Chris Webber, man. So that's just my story. But guys, good show tonight, man. I appreciate all of you guys had a great comments, great stories. Mike, thanks for coming up. We're gonna close it out. Boogie Bob, tell the people where they can find you in the social media streets, man, giving you handles and everything about you, man, so people can know where to catch up with you.
Well, I think this will be the first time I've ever said this. If you ever come to a Mavericks game and you see me, stop me. I'll sign an autograph, take a picture with you. To me, I'm just an ordinary fan. But hey, if you see me at a game, come up, say hi. You can always catch me on Boogie Bob. But more importantly, Swish for real.
Swish for real. Yes, sir.
Trying to grow the show.
Let's go.
Grow the show.
Mike Shed, where can the people find you in those social media streets, man? Give them your handles and let them know where they can check you out, man.
Twitter, it's Shred74, and then Instagram is Mr. Shed, I believe, Mr. Shed on Instagram, or Shred74. I think it crosses over, Mr. Shred74. But I know Twitter is Shred74, SHREDD 74.
Nice, man. Thanks again for coming on. We
I
appreciate
you guys having me, Big Mike, Boogie Bob. It's great to see you guys.
Absolutely. We'll have to get you on again probably in a couple of months or so, whenever you have some free time. I know the season's coming up, so I'm not quite sure what you're going to be doing. You might be tied up with family, but that's the most.
I'll probably be in a hockey rink somewhere.
Absolutely. Guys, it's been a great show. I'm checking out. You can always catch me here on Swish for Real and also on X, Mikkel Lampkin /poet, director, and Mike's in film. So Mike, if you ever want to chop it up about some film, we can definitely do that, man. But
let's do it.
Yes, sir. Great show, guys. We're checking out Swish for Real. We are out.
That's it, Pring.